Imagine waking up one morning and not recognizing the person staring back at you in the mirror. Not because of how you look, but because of who you've become. The old fears, doubts, and limitations are gone. The version of you that was stuck, uncertain, or overwhelmed has disappeared. In just 1 week, you have transformed into someone entirely new, someone who thinks differently, feels differently, and attracts an entirely new reality. Most people believe that change takes years, that transformation is slow and painful. But what if that wasn't true? What if you could break free from the patterns that have defined you for years and create a new life in just 7 days? Not by luck, not by chance, but by understanding how to rewire your mind, recondition your body, and shift your energy so profoundly that the universe has no choice but to reflect your new identity back to you. The life you desire is not waiting for you in the distant future. It exists now, in a version of you that is just beyond your current self. The question is, are you ready to meet that version of you? Because once you do, you will never go back. To change your life in 1 week, the first and most important step is to break the habit of being yourself. This means becoming aware of the unconscious patterns that have been running your life for years, maybe even decades. Most people wake up every morning and immediately start thinking about their problems. They recall yesterday's worries, the stress of their job, the frustrations in their relationships, and the limitations they believe define them. Without realizing it, they are reaffirming their past over and over again, ensuring that today will be just like yesterday. Your brain is a record of the past. Every experience you've ever had, every emotional response you've repeated, every thought you've entertained has left a neural imprint. Over time, these imprints become automatic, shaping how you think, feel, and act. If you wake up and immediately dwell on stress, fear, or self-doubt, you are firing the same neural circuits that have kept you stuck. You are producing the same chemicals that create the same emotions, which lead to the same behaviors, which generate the same experiences. This cycle repeats until you no longer have to think about it. It becomes who you are. But here's the truth. Who you think you are is just a collection of habits. Your personality is not set in stone. It is a memorized pattern of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. If you want to become unrecognizable in 1 week, you must break free from the cycle that has kept you in the same reality. The first step to doing this is becoming conscious of the unconscious. You must start observing your thoughts instead of automatically reacting to them. The moment you wake up, pause. Do not reach for your phone. Do not immediately start running through your to-do list. Instead, take a deep breath and become aware. Ask yourself, what thoughts am I thinking right now? Are they new or are they just recycled from yesterday? If you find yourself replaying the same worries, the same fears, or the same complaints, stop. Do not let your mind wander into the past. When you notice an old thought creeping in, say to yourself, that is not me anymore. This simple act of awareness interrupts the pattern. It creates space for something new. Most people are completely unaware that they are living in a loop, that 95% of their thoughts today will be the same as yesterday's. But the second you start observing these thoughts, you are no longer the program. You become the programmer. Once you have interrupted the old thought patterns, the next step is to make a conscious choice about who you want to be. If you don't decide, your environment will decide for you. Every morning, ask yourself, who am I going to be today? Not based on who you were yesterday, but based on who you want to become. This is where you must begin to think greater than your past, greater than your current circumstances. When you define a new identity, your brain starts firing in new ways. Instead of playing the same old patterns, you begin to create new neural connections. But thinking alone is not enough. You must feel it. Thoughts are the language of the brain, and emotions are the language of the body. To make real change, you need to marry a new thought with a new emotion. If you want to become confident, you must think confident thoughts and feel the emotion of confidence before the evidence shows up in your life. If you want to be successful, you must think and feel success now, not later. Your body has been conditioned to feel familiar emotions, maybe stress, worry, or frustration. It will try to pull you back into those states because that is what it knows. You might wake up feeling the urge to check your emails immediately or to stress about work before the day has even started. This is your old self fighting for survival. But if you are serious about change, you must teach your body how to feel differently. Instead of reacting to your environment, create your internal state deliberately. Take a moment each morning to sit with your eyes closed. See yourself as the person you are becoming. Imagine what it would feel like to wake up in the life you desire. How would you move? How would you speak? How would you think? The more vividly you imagine it, the more real it becomes. When you combine clear intention with elevated emotion, your brain begins to rewire itself. You are no longer firing the same neural circuits as before. You are installing new programs, ones that match the reality you want to create. As the day unfolds, remain conscious. Throughout the day, pay attention to your emotions. If you find yourself slipping back into old patterns, complaining, reacting, or feeling stressed, stop, take a breath, and remind yourself, this is the old me. I am no longer that person. Then shift. Step into the version of yourself you are becoming. Walk differently, speak differently, think differently. The more you do this, the more natural it will feel. By the end of the day, reflect. Ask yourself, did I live today as my old self or as my new self? If you fell into old patterns, do not judge yourself. Just become aware. Awareness is power. The more you observe your habits, the less control they have over you. Breaking the habit of being yourself is not about forcing change. It is about becoming aware of the unconscious patterns that have been running your life and choosing something different. The more you interrupt the old patterns and install new ones, the faster your transformation will be. And within 1 week, you will begin to notice something incredible. You will wake up feeling different, thinking differently, acting differently, and the world around you will start to reflect these changes. Because the moment you stop living as the person you were yesterday, you create space for the person you are destined to become. The human brain is a highly adaptable organ, capable of change and transformation at any moment. Yet most people live their entire lives reinforcing the same neural patterns, thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, and experiencing the same reality over and over again. To truly change your life in just 1 week, you must reprogram your mind by deliberately choosing new thoughts and emotions that align with the future you desire. The brain does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. If you repeatedly focus on a new version of yourself with clarity and intention, your neural circuits begin to reflect that reality before it even manifests in your external world. The process of reprogramming the mind begins with intention. Most people live by default, allowing external circumstances to dictate their thoughts and emotions. But if you want to become unrecognizable in a short period of time, you must shift from living unconsciously to living by design. This means deciding every single day who you want to be and holding that vision with unwavering focus. When you create a clear mental picture of your future self, how you think, how you feel, how you behave, you give your brain a new blueprint to follow. The clearer the intention, the stronger the neural imprint. But thought alone is not enough. If you think about success but continue to feel doubt, you are sending conflicting signals to your body. Your thoughts create electrical signals in the brain, while your emotions create chemical responses in the body. To rewire your brain effectively, you must align both. This means feeling the emotions of your desired future before it physically happens. If you want to become confident, you must generate the feeling of confidence now. If you want abundance, you must feel gratitude for it before it arrives. Your body must experience the emotional state of your future reality in the present moment. When you do this repeatedly, you condition your mind and body to believe that the future you desire is already real. This is not wishful thinking, it is neuroscience. When you repeatedly think about a future event with enough emotional intensity, your brain begins to wire itself to match that reality. Neural pathways strengthen, synaptic connections reorganize, and over time, new habits of thought and feeling emerge. The more you focus on this new version of yourself, the less power your past identity has over you. The old circuits that supported self-doubt, fear, and limitation begin to weaken through lack of use, while the new circuits of confidence, empowerment, and clarity grow stronger. But reprogramming the mind also requires consistency. Most people try visualization or affirmations once or twice and expect instant results, but true transformation happens through repetition. Just as an athlete trains their muscles daily, you must train your mind every single day. This means committing to the practice of mentally rehearsing your future self over and over again. Each time you do, your brain reinforces those pathways, making them more automatic. Over time, thinking like your future self becomes second nature. A powerful way to accelerate this process is through meditation. When you close your eyes and disconnect from your external environment, your brain waves slow down, making your subconscious mind more suggestible to change. In this state, you can imprint new beliefs, new habits, and new emotional patterns directly into your nervous system. By repeatedly experiencing the emotions of your future reality in deep meditation, you begin to biologically condition yourself for that new life. The more real it feels in your inner world, the more your outer world will begin to shift to match it. Another critical aspect of reprogramming the mind is changing your inner dialogue. Your self-talk is a direct reflection of your subconscious programming. If you constantly tell yourself that you are not good enough, not smart enough, or not capable, those words reinforce the very neural circuits that keep you stuck. But if you consciously shift your internal dialogue, replacing self-doubt with empowerment, you create a new mental environment that supports growth. Instead of saying, I am not confident, say, I am becoming more confident every day. Instead of, I will never succeed, say, success is inevitable for me. Over time, your brain will accept these new statements as truth, and your actions will begin to align with them. Equally important is what you focus on throughout the day. Your brain is constantly scanning for information that aligns with your dominant thoughts. If you focus on limitations, your brain will highlight evidence that supports those limitations. But if you train yourself to focus on opportunities, solutions, and growth, your brain will begin to seek out those possibilities instead. This is why it is essential to be intentional about what you consume, whether it's the conversations you engage in, the media you watch, or the thoughts you entertain. Whatever you give your attention to, you reinforce. As you continue this process, you may experience resistance. Your old identity does not disappear overnight. It will try to pull you back into familiar patterns. You may feel discomfort, doubt, or even frustration as your mind adjusts to the new programming. This is a natural part of the process. The key is to remain aware and not allow the old self to take control again. Each time you notice yourself slipping into past patterns, gently redirect your focus to the new identity you are creating. With enough repetition, your new way of thinking will become dominant, and the old self will fade into the background. By the end of 1 week, your brain will have begun to rewire itself in profound ways. New neural connections will have formed, your emotional state will have shifted, and your thoughts will no longer be dominated by the past. The more you engage in this process, the more effortless it becomes. Eventually, your new identity will feel natural, and the reality around you will begin to reflect the transformation that has already taken place in your mind. The present moment is the only place where true change can occur. Most people live trapped in either the past or the future, constantly replaying old memories or anxiously anticipating what is to come. They wake up each day and immediately recall yesterday's problems, reaffirming the same thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that have defined them for years. When the mind is stuck in the past, the body follows. It recreates the same neurochemical patterns, reinforcing a familiar emotional state. As a result, nothing changes. The person continues living as a reflection of their history rather than as a creator of their future. Mastering the present moment requires a shift in awareness. It begins with understanding that the past only exists in memory and the future is just a projection of the mind. Both are mental constructs, yet they dictate how most people think, feel, and act. To create a new reality, one must break free from this cycle and fully immerse themselves in the now. The present moment is where all potential exists. It is where new thoughts can emerge, new choices can be made, and new experiences can unfold. But accessing this power requires discipline. It requires training the mind to focus on what is happening now, rather than being hijacked by conditioned patterns. One of the greatest obstacles to mastering the present moment is the emotional baggage of the past. Every experience a person has ever had leaves an imprint on the brain. If those experiences were painful, stressful, or traumatic, they create deeply ingrained emotional responses. These emotions become the body's subconscious program, triggering automatic reactions to familiar situations. If someone has been conditioned to feel anxious in social settings, their body will anticipate that anxiety before the event even happens. If they have been conditioned to feel unworthy, their thoughts will reflect that belief without them even realizing it. The body begins to live in the past, dragging the mind along with it. To change this, one must become acutely aware of these emotional triggers. Every time an old emotion surfaces, whether it is fear, self-doubt, frustration, or guilt, it is an opportunity to break the cycle. Instead of reacting unconsciously, one must pause, observe, and make a different choice. This requires mindfulness, the practice of paying attention to the present without judgment. It means noticing when the mind starts wandering into old thought patterns and gently bringing it back to the now. The more this is practiced, the weaker those past associations become. The brain begins to rewire itself, no longer automatically triggering old responses. Another challenge to staying present is the mind's tendency to anticipate the future. Many people spend their days worrying about what might happen next. They project their fears and doubts into tomorrow, next week, or even years ahead. But the future is always uncertain. Worrying about it does nothing but drain energy and reinforce a state of stress. The brain does not distinguish between real and imagined events. So, when a person constantly anticipates negative outcomes, their body reacts as if those events are already happening. Stress hormones flood the system, the nervous system goes into overdrive, and the cycle of fear and anxiety continues. The key to breaking free from this pattern is to bring full awareness to the present. The body must be trained to feel safe in the now rather than reacting to imagined threats. Breathwork is a powerful tool for this. By focusing on deep, intentional breathing, the nervous system shifts from a stress response to a state of calm. Meditation is another tool that anchors awareness in the moment. By sitting in stillness and observing the mind without attachment, one learns to detach from habitual thoughts and emotions. Over time, this rewires the brain to operate from a state of presence rather than reactivity. Living in the present moment also requires a shift in perspective. Instead of viewing life as something happening to them, a person must see themselves as the creator of their reality. This means becoming conscious of every thought, every decision, and every action. It means taking responsibility for the energy they bring into each moment. If they want to create a different future, they must begin by changing how they show up in the present. This involves aligning thoughts, emotions, and actions with the desired future self. If they want to be confident, they must embody confidence now. If they want abundance, they must feel gratitude now. Another important aspect of mastering the present moment is releasing attachment to external circumstances. Most people allow their emotions to be dictated by what is happening around them. They feel happy when things go well and frustrated when they don't. But true mastery comes from developing an internal state that is independent of external conditions. This means choosing peace, joy, and gratitude regardless of what is happening. When a person no longer reacts to life, but instead consciously responds, they take control of their reality. They stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming a creator. As a person continues to practice living fully in the now, they begin to experience life in a completely new way. They become more present in conversations, more engaged in their actions, and more aware of their thoughts. They stop dwelling on past regrets or worrying about the future and instead focus on making the most of each moment. The more they do this, the more their energy shifts. Their brain rewires itself to function in the present. Their body releases old patterns, and their reality begins to reflect their new state of being. The body and mind are deeply interconnected, yet most people live as if they are separate. Every thought you think creates a biochemical reaction in your body, and every emotion you feel reinforces those thoughts. This cycle continues until your body memorizes an emotional state and begins to trigger it automatically, independent of your conscious thoughts. If you have spent years feeling stressed, anxious, or unworthy, your body has become conditioned to those emotions. Even if your conscious mind decides to think positively or set new goals, Your body is still running on the old emotional programming. This is why real change feels so difficult. Your body is living in the past, while your mind is trying to create a new future. To transform in 1 week, you must break this cycle and teach your body to feel differently before your new reality manifests. Every emotion you experience produces specific chemical reactions. When you feel fear, your brain releases stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, signaling your body to prepare for danger. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, and your awareness narrows. This is a survival response designed to protect you. But when it becomes chronic, it keeps you stuck in a state of reactivity. The same happens with emotions like guilt, shame, or unworthiness. They flood the body with specific neurochemicals that reinforce those states. Over time, these emotions become deeply wired into your biology. You don't even have to think about them consciously. Your body automatically generates the feeling, and your mind follows with thoughts that justify it. The key to transformation is reversing this process. Instead of allowing your body to dictate your mind, you must teach your body how to feel the emotions of your future before it happens. If you want to become confident, you must generate the feeling of confidence now. If you want to feel loved, you must embody love before external conditions change. Most people wait for something outside of them, a new job, a relationship, financial success, to feel a certain way. But the truth is, your emotions are not created by the outside world. They are created by your interpretation of it. You have the power to generate any emotional state at will. To do this, you must first become aware of how your body has been conditioned. Start by noticing the emotions that dominate your daily experience. Do you often feel stressed before anything stressful happens? Do you wake up feeling anxious before you even start your day? These are signs that your body has memorized these emotions and they are running your life on autopilot. Awareness is the first step to change. The moment you recognize an old emotional pattern, you create the opportunity to break it. The next step is to interrupt the cycle. When you feel an old emotion rising, whether it's doubt, fear, or frustration, pause. Do not react. Instead, take a deep breath and shift your focus. Remind yourself that this emotion is just a conditioned response, not a reflection of your present reality. Then, deliberately choose a new emotional state. Ask yourself, what would my future self feel right now? If your desired future is one of confidence, abundance, or joy, generate those emotions in the present moment. This may feel unnatural at first, but with practice, it becomes second nature. One of the most powerful ways to recondition the body is through visualization. The brain does not distinguish between real and imagined experiences. When you close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself embodying your desired emotional state, your brain begins firing new neural circuits. If you consistently visualize yourself as calm, powerful, and in control, your body will begin to mirror those signals. Over time, this rewires your nervous system, making those emotional states your new baseline. Another crucial practice is using the breath to change your physiological state. The way you breathe directly influences your nervous system. When you are stressed, your breath becomes shallow and rapid, reinforcing the body's fight or flight response. But when you slow your breath, deepen it, and focus on long exhalations, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes relaxation and balance. Practicing conscious breathing throughout the day helps keep your body aligned with your new emotional state, preventing it from slipping back into old patterns. Your posture and movement also play a role in rewiring emotional patterns. Emotions are not just stored in the brain, they are stored in the body. When you feel unconfident, your shoulders slump, your breathing becomes shallow, and your movements become hesitant. But if you change your physiology, standing tall, moving with intention, and breathing deeply, you send new signals to your brain. Your body starts to associate these movements with confidence and power, reinforcing the new emotional state you are cultivating. Consistency is essential. The body has been programmed over years to react in certain ways, and it takes repetition to install new emotional habits. Every morning, set aside time to practice generating the emotions of your future self. Throughout the day, check in with your body. If you notice old emotions creeping in, consciously shift back to the new state you are creating. Before bed, reflect on how well you maintained your emotional alignment and reinforce it with visualization or breath work. As you continue this practice, your body will begin to adapt. The old emotional patterns will weaken and the new ones will strengthen. You will wake up feeling different, move through your day with more ease, and experience the world from a new perspective. Your external reality will start to shift because you have changed internally. Your body will no longer be the anchor keeping you tied to your past. Instead, it will become a vehicle for creating your future. Energy is the foundation of all transformation. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, and every action you take carries a specific energetic frequency. Most people live in a state of low energy without even realizing it. They wake up tired, operate from stress, dwell in fear, and react to life rather than create it. Their energy is scattered, drained by negative thoughts, toxic habits, and emotional burdens from the past. To truly change your life in 1 week, you must master your energy. When you learn to raise and direct it with intention, you align yourself with the future you desire, and your reality begins to shift in extraordinary ways. Every person emits an electromagnetic field generated by both the brain and the heart. This field is influenced by your emotional and mental states. Negative emotions such as fear, anger, and resentment create incoherence in this energy field, weakening your overall vitality. Positive emotions such as gratitude, joy, and love generate coherence, strengthening your energy and expanding your influence. Science has shown that the heart's electromagnetic field can be detected several feet away from the body, meaning that your energy is not just contained within you, it affects everything around you. If you want to become unrecognizable in a short time, you must learn to regulate this field by consciously shifting your emotional and mental states. The first step to mastering your energy is becoming aware of where it is being wasted. Most people lose energy through worry, overthinking, and emotional reactions to things outside their control. They allow external circumstances to dictate their internal state, which keeps them in a cycle of reactivity. If the world around them is chaotic, they feel stressed. If someone criticizes them, they feel insecure. This is energy leakage, giving away power to people and situations that do not serve them. When you take control of your energy, you no longer react automatically. Instead, you choose how to respond in every moment, ensuring that your energy remains aligned with your highest potential. One of the most effective ways to conserve and build energy is through mindfulness. Most people are unaware of how much energy is lost through unconscious patterns. Thoughts consume energy. If you spend your day ruminating on problems, reliving past mistakes, or worrying about the future, you are depleting your energy reserves. The mind operates in loops, repeating familiar thoughts over and over again. When you become aware of this, you can interrupt the cycle. Every time you catch yourself thinking a draining thought, pause and redirect your focus to something that elevates your energy. Even something as simple as shifting from frustration to gratitude can create a measurable change in your electromagnetic field. Breath work is another powerful tool for increasing energy. Your breath is directly connected to your nervous system and energy levels. Most people breathe shallowly, which keeps their body in a low energy state. Deep conscious breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, calming the mind and increasing oxygen flow to the brain. Certain breathing techniques, such as rhythmic or diaphragmatic breathing, can elevate your energy almost instantly. When you breathe deeply and intentionally, you generate more life force energy, which allows you to operate at a higher frequency. Movement is another way to shift energy. Emotions are stored in the body, and stagnant energy creates blockages that prevent transformation. When you feel stuck, low, or unmotivated, moving your body can change your state almost immediately. This does not require intense exercise. Simple practices like stretching, yoga, or even walking with intention can release trapped energy and restore balance. The key is to move with awareness, focusing on how each movement influences your energy. Another crucial aspect of energy mastery is learning how to generate elevated emotions on command. Emotions are energy in motion, and they influence your reality far more than most people realize. If you wake up feeling uninspired and allow that feeling to dominate your day, you are reinforcing a low energy state. But if you wake up and intentionally generate excitement, gratitude, or joy, you shift your entire frequency. The body does not know the difference between an emotion generated by an external event and one generated by internal focus. This means you have the power to create any emotional state at will. Gratitude is one of the highest frequency emotions you can cultivate. It has been scientifically proven to enhance brain function, strengthen the immune system, and increase overall well being. When you focus on gratitude, you shift from a state of lack to a state of abundance. Your energy expands, your heart's electromagnetic field becomes more coherent, and you attract more experiences that match that frequency. If you practice gratitude consistently, it will rewire your brain to operate from a state of appreciation rather than fear or doubt. Another powerful practice is visualization. When you close your eyes and vividly imagine your ideal future, your brain and body begin to experience it as if it is happening now. This creates a surge of energy that aligns your entire being with your desired outcome. The key to effective visualization is not just seeing the future in your mind, but feeling the emotions of that future. If you visualize yourself as successful, but feel doubt, you are not fully aligned. But if you visualize yourself as successful and generate the feelings of confidence and achievement, your energy shifts to match that reality. Your environment also plays a critical role in energy management. Everything you surround yourself with, people, conversations, music, social media, food, either raises or lowers your energy. If you are constantly exposed to negativity, gossip, or toxic influences, your energy will reflect that. But if you consciously choose to immerse yourself in uplifting content, positive relationships, and environments that inspire you, your energy will naturally rise. Being selective about what you consume mentally, emotionally, and physically is one of the fastest ways to shift your energy. Mastering your energy requires discipline and commitment. It is not about momentary motivation, but about consistently choosing thoughts, emotions, and actions that support your highest self. When you take control of your energy, you take control of your life. You become less influenced by external circumstances and more in tune with your inner power. You shift from reacting to creating, from struggle to flow, from limitation to infinite potential. When your energy is aligned, your transformation is inevitable. The identity you hold determines the life you experience. Most people wake up every day and unconsciously reaffirm the same identity they have lived with for years. They think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, and engage in the same habits, reinforcing a familiar sense of self. If they see themselves as unworthy, their thoughts, emotions, and actions will reflect that belief, and their external reality will mirror it back to them. If they see themselves as incapable of change, they will continuously find evidence to support that perception. The truth is, your identity is not fixed. It is a construct created by repetitive thoughts and behaviors. To change your life in 1 week, you must let go of the old identity that no longer serves you and step into a completely new version of yourself. The process begins with awareness. You must first recognize the identity you have unconsciously been living by. Ask yourself, who have I been? And observe the automatic thoughts that arise. Do you consistently think in ways that limit you? Do you wake up expecting the same struggles, frustrations, and limitations? If so, it is because you have unknowingly conditioned yourself into an identity that aligns with those experiences. The mind seeks familiarity, even if that familiarity is painful. People often cling to negative identities because they provide a sense of certainty, even when that certainty keeps them stuck. To break free, you must disrupt the cycle. The moment you recognize that your current identity is just a collection of repeated thoughts and behaviors, you reclaim your power. You realize that who you are is not fixed, it is fluid. The key to transformation is making the unfamiliar familiar. You must introduce new thoughts, new emotions, and new habits that align with the person you want to become. This requires a conscious decision to no longer identify with the old self. Instead of waking up and immediately remembering yesterday's struggles, you must wake up and declare a new reality. One of the most powerful ways to shift identity is through mental rehearsal. The brain does not distinguish between real and imagined experiences, meaning that when you vividly imagine yourself as the new version of you, your brain begins to wire itself accordingly. Every morning, close your eyes and visualize yourself as the person you are becoming. See yourself moving through the day with confidence, ease, and certainty. Feel what it is like to embody that new identity. The more real you can make it in your mind, the faster it becomes your reality. Your body will begin to respond as if this new identity is already true, and soon your actions will naturally align with it. Your language also plays a crucial role in reinforcing identity. Pay attention to the words you use when you speak about yourself. If you constantly say, "I'm bad at this," "I never have enough," or "I always struggle," you are reinforcing an identity that keeps you trapped. Every word you speak is an affirmation, whether you realize it or not. To shift your identity, you must speak in alignment with your future self. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I am learning and growing every day." Instead of saying, "I'm stuck," say, "I am evolving and expanding." Words carry energy, and when you change your language, you change your state of being. Another critical aspect of identity transformation is changing your emotional baseline. Many people are addicted to certain emotional states, even if they are negative. They wake up expecting stress, frustration, or disappointment because that is what their nervous system is used to. To step into a new identity, you must consciously generate new emotions that align with that version of yourself. If your future self is confident, you must practice feeling confidence now. If your future self is at peace, you must generate feelings of peace in the present moment. Emotions are the language of the body, and when you change your emotions, you change your biological state. The environment around you also influences your identity. The people you surround yourself with, the content you consume, and the spaces you spend time in either reinforce your old self or support your new self. If you are constantly exposed to negativity, drama, or environments that drain you, your identity will reflect that. But if you intentionally place yourself in spaces that inspire you, engage with people who uplift you, and consume information that expands your mind, your identity will naturally shift. This is why making even small changes to your daily environment can create profound shifts in your sense of self. Behavior is another key factor in solidifying identity. Your actions must match the identity you are creating. If your new identity is someone who is disciplined, you must act in disciplined ways. If your new identity is someone who is confident, you must make choices from a place of confidence. You do not wait until you feel like that person. You act as if you already are. Over time, these repeated behaviors reinforce the new identity, making it your natural way of being. To accelerate the process, it is important to eliminate any behaviors that contradict the identity you are building. If you are stepping into the identity of someone who values their health, you cannot continue engaging in habits that harm your body. If you are stepping into the identity of someone who is financially abundant, you cannot continue making decisions from a place of scarcity. Every small action either reinforces the old self or builds the new self. The more consistent you are, the faster the transformation occurs. Another powerful tool for identity shifting is embodiment. Instead of just thinking about your new identity, practice feeling it in your body. How does the new version of you walk, breathe, and carry themselves? Adjust your posture, your movement, and your energy to reflect this new state of being. Your physiology directly influences your psychology, meaning that even small shifts in how you move and hold yourself can create profound changes in how you feel and think. Ultimately, the key to rapid transformation is full commitment. You must decide that the old version of you no longer exists. Every thought, emotion, and action must align with the new identity you are stepping into. When you make this shift at the deepest level, your external reality will begin to reflect your internal transformation. The world responds to who you are being, not just what you are doing. When your identity shifts, your life shifts with it. The person you dream of becoming is not some distant version of you, buried beneath years of struggle and limitation. That version of you already exists. It's waiting beyond the familiar thoughts, emotions, and habits that have kept you stuck in the past. Transformation doesn't take years. It takes a single decision backed by action, consistency, and a deep commitment to stepping beyond who you've been. When you master your mind, elevate your emotions, and direct your energy with intention, your reality shifts. You are no longer a prisoner of old beliefs. You are no longer controlled by external circumstances. You become the architect of your own life. Every thought you think, every choice you make, every emotion you generate builds the bridge between where you are now and the unrecognizable, limitless version of you. So, as you step forward from this moment, know this: you are no longer the same. You have the power to change. You have the ability to rise. You have everything within you to create a life beyond what you've ever imagined. Now go out there, take action, and make the impossible possible. Good luck, and thank you for being here today.